Welcome to Market Measures, tastylive's weekday research, where trading strategies, probabilities, and market behavior are tested using our data against real market conditions and real outcomes. We take complex research and turn it into clear, actionable insight you can trade. Stay tuned. This is research that helps traders build an edge.
Fixing skewed IVR.
How do you fix that?
Well, you can't really fix it, but you can understand it a little bit better.
Sure.
And you know, I think this will be eye-opening for expectations of volatility changes over time. So this will be a good one. So we often discuss how large volatility expansions can skew IVR to underestimate IV inflation relative to the historical averages. So IVR is a metric that looks at the average. It's not an average metric because it's a good metric.
Yes.
But it looks at an average. And so when you have something that is widely deviating from the average, it's obviously going to skew the results. And so how can we adjust our interpretation of IVR to account for this overstatement caused by outlier events? So basically what we're going to be discussing is like how we can look at IVR after a period where you have a huge spike, like a COVID or tariff tantrum, something like that. So short premium traders rely on short-term volatility contraction. So when you're selling premium, you're looking for that change in volatility. If we looked at the probabilities of short-term VIX contractions at different SPY IVR levels, we can see that IVR greater than 30 is an adequate threshold on average. So here what we're looking at is how often we have it bucketed from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and then greater than 30 in IVR on SPY. And we're looking at how often the probability the VIX comes in by 5% in the next window, in the 45-day window. So when you have a 30 IV rank in SPY or higher, there is a high probability, about a 66% probability. The volatility contracts by about 5% in the next 45 days, which is good. Obviously, when you have lower volatility, that number is very, very low. In terms of a 10% contraction in volatility, which is a big contraction in volatility, you still have a very high probability of seeing that when IVR is greater than 30. So we've talked about this before of IVR of 30 being like the higher end of the range because it accounts for that huge spike in volatility that you typically have on a year-to-year basis.
Sure.
But it does tell you that when you get into that 30 IVR range, that's kind of your spot to start wheeling and dealing.
It's when you want to be active. There's no doubt about it. Even the S&P's down 53.
Yeah, interesting move. Volatility still high. You have gold and silver off a little bit. Ick. So here's how we get to IVR. It's a pretty simple calculation here. But you can see IVR depends on the annual IV range for the underlying, which can dramatically increase due to spikes in implied volatility. So, volatility spikes are going to skew the high end of the IV reading, which means that IVRs for the next, period of time are going to be compressed because of that one outlier move. It tends to understate. I don't think understate is a good word, but it tends to give you lower readings for IVRs. You're finding the 50 IVR after COVID is hard because the outlier is so big. You can't not account. You can't put the outlier. You can't just take it away and be like, oh, that was just
it doesn't disappear.
It happened and the VIX spikes and you have to account for that. But you have to understand that, when you have these pops and vol, it does kind of skew it. It makes that upper bound, that IVR of 30 or 40 more significant. Like that 30 or 40 is really an 80 or 90 if you take out the spike in the VIX, which you don't want to take out the spike.
No.
Because that's still important to account for.
Unbelievable the moves going on in gold right now. Gold is up $96.
It's nuts.
What's that?
It's nuts.
It really is nuts. And up $96, which is a 2% move, is just off of its lows. It's down about $200 off of its highs from today, still up 2%. Silver is up $3.90. It's $2 off of its lows.
Icky.
What's that?
Icky.
$4 off of its highs. Volatility itself, 1970, has come in a little bit from 2010. Even the S&P's down 50. If you're looking at, I have to just preempt this just for a moment here. GLD.
Crypto's getting killed too.
Crypto getting killed too, down 3,000 and change. GLD volatility is just up huge. IV rank of 117 is about as high as it's ever been over all of these days from the up move on. Crazy moves just about everywhere in any market that you're looking at. So I got to just take a little moment here from this market measure just to take a look at that.
Yeah. All right, let's get back
my
to
friends.
the slides.
So sorry. Yes, I apologize. I apologize.
We'll have more time. So we're looking at SPY and VIX from 2015 to present for different SPY IVR ranges from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and then 30 plus. And we're finding the probability that the VIX contracts by at least 5% and 10% in the 45-day window during those IV ranges. When you do get those IV ranges, do you expect it happens fairly frequently when you get an IVR above 30?
Yes, I would expect it to happen quite frequently.
When considering the probability the VIX contracts by at least 5% in a 45-day period for the higher annual VIX maximums, significant contraction becomes much more likely even at lower SPY IVRs. This is because IVR is going to be lower because you've had this spike already happen, which skews kind of the results there. You could see, so the way we broke this up, you have SPY IVR 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 plus. We're looking at the probability of at least a 5% contraction in a 45-day window in all of these buckets. Obviously, when IVR is low, the 10-20 range, it's much less likely that volatility contracts from there. And that should not shock you because volatility is low. It would have to go even lower. When you're in that like middle 20 to 30 range, that's a good spot to be. Like that's not a bad entry. When you get into the 30 range, the above 30, you have a really high probability of a vol contraction in the next 45 days. Like it's above a 50-60% probability that you get a vol contraction at some point in the next 45 days. And so it really goes to the story of like why we are, the 80 or 90 IV ranks are very few and far between. The 30 and 40 IV ranks are the high end of the range. The 20 to 30 range is kind of go zone. The 10 to 20 is when you just
go zone.
Yeah, like you're okay, you can go.
Yeah.
Like I should say go zone is really 30 plus. But 20 to 30 is what you should look at as like the relative higher end of the range. There's more occurrences in that range than there is in the 30 plus. But that 10 to 20 range, that's kind of when you kind of like pump the brakes a little bit.
Totally agree.
So the next slide here, just kind of further extrapolating this out. This is a 10% vol contraction in a 45-day window after or into different IVR buckets. You can see here again, it's very likely that you see a vol contraction after a 45-day period when vol is super high. I mean, that's what you're seeing here. When
gold falling out of bed up $50 now. 5,400 approximately on gold. Silver 115 and change, still up 2% for silver, 1% for gold. Market down 65, NASDAQ down 400 and change. Kind of what we thought, all assets go lower. This is really an interesting market right now. 1980 on.
I can't believe vol isn't higher.
I agree with you, but this is the unwind, or at least looks like the unwind that we were talking about in gold and silver. I mean, if
gold and silver, let's say they're red on the day.
Yeah.
With Bitcoin down, $4,000, bonds down, and equities kind of like down 1%. Mm-hmm. You think vol is going to contract into that sort of thing? No, but 19.5 to 20.5 might be the new norm in volatility if even the S&Ps and the market can stay bid here. I mean, now listen, we're talking about something like it's
huge here. It's a 60 handle move in SPY.
It's nothing. It's one day. It's
Right.
2 days.
Yeah, right.
No,
Exactly.
that's what's.
But it does seem like volatility is percolated pretty good here. It does seem like maybe gold and silver have stopped their lofty-ish levels, and maybe you get more of a 1% and 2% move in here instead of the 4%, 5%, and 6% moves that we've been accustomed to. I don't know. It's like I said, interesting little move.
Silver only up $1 here. Gold just sold off $40.
Gold is now almost unchanged on the day after being up $300.
I think we're gonna get a vol spike here. I think we're gonna get
You had a good
sitting
6%
there.
move in gold in vol already. In the equity side, it'd be interesting to see what happens to gold volatility on the way down. You can see here the IV rank of 114. Volatility is actually coming in a little bit in gold as it goes lower, which you would expect there. So be dynamic with your trades if you're looking at GLD or anything else like that, and be very, very
watch your price.
Watch your pricing. GLD is moving around dollars at a clip now. Gold is actually down $7. I just mentioned
Silver's at 112 now. It just sold off $10.
Yes. To give you an idea, in GLD, the range, the high was 509, the low is 485, where we're sitting right now, down $9.
Crazy. Let's finish this off. I'm ready. Tangent. So significant IV contraction is highly likely for IVR greater than 30. This is going back in history here, regardless of history. That's kind of the spot you want to be. A 30 IV rank is kind of a good spot to start looking at short premium positions, whether it be iron condor, strangles, puts, whatever. This threshold can be lowered if the large volatility event occurred within the last year. So if you have a COVID type skew to volatility, to the range of volatility, you can look at that 20 to 30 range as kind of the higher end of the range is really what we're looking at here. The 20 plus is kind of the good spot. When you're in and what do we got? I mean, obviously we're getting a spike in volatility today. So just to give you context, SPY volatility IV rank 22 right now. So we had been below this for the last, couple months. So now we're kind of in go zone.
Thanks for watching. If you want more context and more ways to think about markets, check out more of our videos. And don't forget, give us a like, comment, subscribe, and watch Tasty Live.